Hey guys, here we are in the third and final installment of our series of how to lead a rebellious wife, and we're talking about chivalry.
And no, we're not talking about knights or the medieval times, but we're talking about biblical chivalry.
So stay tuned because we're going to give you a definition of chivalry. We're going to break that definition down into 3 parts. And using those 3 parts, we're going to pepper in some simple applications that we're confident God will use to soften the heart of your wife and show her his character.
Okay guys, so if you have been following along with us in this series of how to lead a rebellious wife, step number 1 was to be self-controlled and responsible, which is what you can see right here. Step number 2 was to expect respect, which you can also see right here. And today we're talking about step number 3, which is to express chivalry daily.
And if you guys want to see those videos, we'll also link them down in the description box below. So what is biblical chivalry? It is consistent, thoughtful care that stems from honoring the delicate nature of a woman. Okay, so now we're going to break down this definition and explain it.
So we get a definition from 1 Peter 3:7, which says, "You husbands in the same way live with your wives in an understanding way as with someone weaker, since she is a woman, and show her honor as a fellow heir of the grace of life, so that your prayers will not be hindered." So
good. Peter is specifically writing to Christians who are suffering under persecution, and he's trying to equip them to live a victorious life in the midst of a dark world. So most likely, Peter is writing to husbands who have unbelieving wives who will be continuously antagonistic towards their faith, or you could say rebellious. So even if your wife is a believer, but she's acting like an unbeliever or rebellious, this would be totally perfect for you. Actually, verse 1 through 6 in chapter 3 is given to wives with unbelieving husbands, so it's a perfect complement. So the first part of that definition, consistent, we get from the first part of the verse, you husbands in the same way live with your wives. That word for live, it could also be translated as dwell. There's this sense of permanence, a constancy of the way that you're dwelling with your wife, the way that you're residing and being with your wife. And so that thoughtful care, it's not a just here today, gone tomorrow sort of a care, or something for special occasions like Valentine's Day or when you feel like it, but there's just this habitual righteousness in the way that you deal with your wife. There's this character of care in the relationship, and that's something you, husband, need to work at every day, so that no matter what, and no matter how she responds to you, you always respond to her with gentleness and righteousness.
Yeah, and there are some times where I'm not acting so delicately.
No way.
Yes.
No way.
Yahweh.
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 And Sheng responds to me not with anger, but with patience, and he gives me tissues for my issues.
Wow. Okay, so the second part of the definition that we really want to key in on is thoughtfulness. And we get that from the middle part of the verse where it says we need to live with your wives in an understanding way. In the Greek, that literally just says according to knowledge, and it's very open-ended. It just means, husbands, fill your mind with truth. The truth of God's character, God's demands for you as a husband to live with your wife, but it's just also truth and knowledge about your wife. It means living with her according to what you know about her. And that means, husbands, that you are to be the chief scholar of your wife. Study her.
Yeah, Sheng is really good at understanding me, especially when I'm tired, and he knows that I should probably take a nap, so he'll encourage me to do so. And there are times when there are just a lot of things on my plate that day, and he'll help me. He's really good at like managing and just time managing and task managing. I don't know what you call it, but he'll do this thing and help me and encourage me and suggest like, oh, why don't you do this thing here in this day, and then and you know, maybe take a nap here. Super helpful, super thoughtful. So husbands, we encourage you to really get to know your wife, and that means taking her out on dates and having time for meaningful conversation. Even if you have kids, make the time to do so.
That reminds me. I need to take you on more dates.
Yeah.
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 I don't know how he finds always the perfect time to interject. He's
Yeah.
just always, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. And the third part of the definition that we want to hone in on is honor. Super important. That comes from the second half of the verse where it says, show her honor as a fellow heir of the grace of life so that your prayers will not be hindered. And the verse also talks about how the woman is the weaker vessel, which really motivates your desire to honor her and protect her. What does it mean by weaker? It's specifically talking about the physical weakness of the woman, that generally women are physically weaker, and that only increases her value and her preciousness, because in her soft and tender nature, you as a husband will all the more want to protect her in that way. So there are really practical ways that you can show that physical care.
So husbands, there are a lot of ways you can express physical care to your wife, like opening the door, opening chairs, opening, is that how you say it?
Pulling
Pulling
out
out
the chair. Yeah, open the chairs.
Break them apart. Giving her your jacket and walking on the outside of the sidewalk so that she's protected from the road.
Yeah, you just want to always look out for her physical well-being, and that means if she's working around the house, she's like stepping up on a footstool, you always got an eye out for her, like seeing if she needs a quick spot, or even better, like just offering to help her reach the higher places in the house, or like do a little bit more of the heavy lifting if there's like a big rug cleaner that she needs to use and it weighs like 30 pounds and she needs to haul it from the garage. Like, you know, offer to just go on over there. And you know, maybe she's selfless and kind and says, hey, no, let me do it. I can totally do it. I got it. I know you're tired. And you know, that's the moment where you say like, honey, I know you got it, but let me help you because I love you. You bring her close, give her a nice little kiss on the cheek. Here, you're gonna get a kiss on. I don't want a kiss on the cheek from your wood train block thing. And this all really matters, husbands. Hopefully this is helpful to break down that definition, but I just really want to urge you to really go out and apply these things. Why? It's right there in the verse. It says, so, the purpose statement, right? So that your prayers will not be hindered. God cares so much about the unity in your marriage, even though you may have a rebellious wife. He cares about what you do. He cares about how you treat her, and that if you treat her well according to his ways, then he's going to answer your prayers. He's going to bless your house. He's going to have a sweet communion with you. And on the flip side, if you are engaging in sin and you're just harsh and cold and brutal towards your wife, he's going to do the exact opposite and revoke his blessings from you. So we don't want that for you, husbands. Go out there and just live walking with God in your marriage. And that means being chivalrous. And that's the third and final way that you can lead your wife, even if she's rebellious. We believe in you guys. Go out there.
Express chivalry.
Daily. And let us know if you have any questions in the comment box below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and riding out with us. We just can't wait for more. So, see you guys later.
See you guys.
Two guys.